Chapter 3, Section 6, Factoring, the Sum and Difference of Cubes. We're going to begin by factoring the sum of cubes. If you look at the formula, a cubed plus b cubed equals, that's what's in the textbook. But I think the best way for you to understand this factoring is by looking at an example. So our first question is going to be to factor x cubed plus 64. First thing you're going to do, take the cube root. Take the cube root of x cubed, you're going to get x, and we're going to set that to be a. You take the cube root of 64, and that's going to be 4, and we're going to set that to be b. Now, when we do binomials, we create this first parentheses, and here you're going to actually put what your cube roots are, the x plus 4. Now notice here in your formula, you have a plus b, where a is the cube root, b is the cube root. The next thing we always did was we write the parentheses. And in this case, notice my parentheses are longer because I'm going to have 3 terms because I'm dealing with a cube root instead of just a binomial. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to take whatever here, the first position, and we're going to square it. And then we're going to take within the second position, which is a 4, and we're going to go ahead and square that. Now notice where I placed them. I placed the x squared first and the 16 last. Now, if you take a look here in the formula, we had a squared. That's right. We took the a, which was the x, and we squared it, and we put it in the first position. And then we took the second, which is the b, and we squared that, and we put that in the last position. Now, coming down here, notice we have x to the 1 times x squared. That is x cubed, and that gives us our very, very first term. So that's one way of checking. The second way of checking at this point is the 4 times the 16 gives you the 64, your last position. So now all we have to do is work to get the middle term. Now think of middle, think of m, multiply, and that's exactly what you do. You're going to take that 4 and the x, multiply them together, and that's going to give you the 4x. And that is exactly what this middle term here is. M for multiply, M for middle term. We took the A and the B and we multiplied them. So notice everything really works around this x plus 4, which is the cube roots. Now you're going to say to me, well, that's okay, but what about the signs? They must be difficult. The signs are so easy. All you have to do is remember the word soap. All right, the S stands for the same sign. The O stands for an opposite sign. And the AP stands for always positive. So let's take a look at our signs. We have the same sign, and yes, we do. We have the positive here, which is the positive. Now, the next one should be the opposite. And yes, that's a negative. And now we should have always positive, plus. Now, what's particularly nice is you look at this, and you know what? You can't factor it. The resulting trinomial is not factorable. So don't even try it. That is your answer. Going through this one more time. We went ahead and we created the first parentheses, which were the cube roots. Then we took the first root and we squared it. And then we took the second and we squared it and put it at the back end. And then all we had to do was create the middle term, and that was the multiply. And then you did your signs using soap, same, opposite, always positive. You are done. Don't even think about factoring it anymore, and that is your answer. All right, so you think you've got this now. So let's try it. Here we go. We're going to factor x cubed plus 27. You can pause the video, work the problem, come on back. This is the way we work the problem. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take the cube roots. Cube root of x cubed is x, so that's A. Cube root of 27 is 3, that's B. We write the first parentheses. We put them down there, x plus 3. Why is it a plus? Because it's always the same. Remember that. S for soap, the first letter, S, same. Then we write the second parentheses. We know we're going to have 3 terms. First term, you take the x and square it. Last term, you take the 3 and square it. Middle term, m for multiply. Again, looking at the 3 and the x. 3 times x. Now we have to look at the SOAP for the signs. We have same, opposite, always positive, and that's your answer. Pat yourself on the back. You got it right. You did a good job. Now we're going to factor the difference of cubes. And I want you to know that this is exactly the same problem and the same way we do the sum of cubes. The only difference is when you look at SOAP and create your signs, it will just look a little different because you're starting with a subtraction instead of starting with an addition. So we also have a formula here, but it's a subtraction of a cubed minus b cubed. Let's take a problem example. Factor 8x cubed minus 1. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take the 8x cubed and get the cube root. Now, the cube root of 8, when you use your calculator, is 2. And the cube root of x cubed, we know, is x. So we have 2x. Think of this. 2x times 2x times 2x will give you the 8x cubed. We set that equal to the a. 1. What about the cube root of 1? Well, it's 1 because 1 times 1 times 1 is going to give you 1. So we set that equal to the b. Once you do this, the whole thing is a piece of cake. You set up your first parentheses and you write the a minus the b. 2x minus 1. Now why did I say minus? Because remember, SOAP, S for soap, stands for same. And we started out taking the difference of cubes with the subtraction symbol, and we do the same thing here. Same sign. Now we set our second parentheses. We take the 2x, we square it. So we're going to get 4x squared. We take the 1 and we square it. We're going to get 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Middle term means multiply. Multiply the 2x by the 1, you're going to get 2x. The signs, SOAP, same, opposite, always positive. And that is your answer. This is the end of the video.